Good day, Dr. Shaira. My name is Hassan Azay, and this is my progress report presentation 2. My topic is modeling housing price fluctuations, insights from economic indicator. My supervisor name is Dr. Sheila binti Ahmad. So, for this presentation, we'll be talking about my results and finding for my research paper, and the methods that have been used is ARDI, which is autoregressive distributed lag. As you can see, this is my descriptive analysis. So next, let's talk about my correlation analysis, which is there are strong positive correlation and negative correlations. So the variables that show strong positive correlation is HPI shows high correlation with consumer spending and domestic credit availability and household income. This indicate a strong association between housing price index and these variables. So the negative correlations are lending interest rate and mortgage rate exhibits negative correlation with most variables, particularly gross domestic product and consumer spending, implying that higher interest rate might suppress growth or capital allocation. So this is lag selection. Lag selection determines the optimal delay in the influence of independent variables over time. The Aikaki information criterion and Schwarz criterion suggests two lags as optimal, indicating dependencies persist across two time periods. So this is my unit root test. So the ADF and PP test confirm mixed integration orders. Consumer spending, household income, and lending interest rate and mortgage rate are integrated at first difference. And then domestic credit availability and purchase power parity are integrated at level. So this shows mixed integration justifies using the ARDL model, allowing for co-integration analysis. So at first, let's look into our bound co-integration. So the F statistic shows 6.265832 exceeds the upper bound at 5% significance, which is 3.15, confirming long-run relationship between house pricing index and explanatory variables. Next is long-run coefficient. So as you can see, the significant variables is domestic credit availability, which is LDCA. The p-value is 0.0129 as major positive impact. Next is locked household income, which is the p-value is 0.0318 as a strong influence on housing prices. And then next, locked urban population, which is the p-value is 0.0184, suggests that urban population drives housing demand. Next, error correction model. So the ECT coefficient, which is negative 0.383, suggests 38.3% of disequilibrium is corrected in the next period, confirming stable adjustments. So next is diagnostic test. So first we run normality test. The p-value is 0.7085, which means that we fail to reject H null. Therefore we conclude errors are normally distributed. Next is Ramsey reset test. So the p-value is 0.3941 since the p-value is bigger than 0.05. So we fail to reject H null. So therefore there's no specification error. Next is atheroscedasticity test, which is p-value is 0.4038. Therefore, variance is constant. And lastly, autocorrelation test, the p-value is 0.4255. Therefore, there's no serial correlation issues. Last test that we run is Kusum and Kusum Q test. So the Kusum and Kusum Q plot indicate model stability as the test statistic remains within 5% significant bounds over time, which is the blue line within the dotted red lines. Since the test confirms stability over time, the model is consistent and reliable. We have come to the conclusion. So the analysis of housing price fluctuations in Malaysia confirms the presence of significant short-run and long-run relationship between economic indicators and the housing price index. The bond co-integration test established a strong long-term equilibrium with key macroeconomic variables significantly influencing housing prices. The ECT, which is negative 0.383, suggests that 38.3% of this equilibrium is corrected each period, indicating a stable adjustment process in the housing market. Consumer spending as a relatively weak influence on housing prices, implying that consumer confidence alone does not dictate market movements. Domestic credit availability significantly impacts housing prices, meaning that higher financial investment in the sector result in price changes. Household income and urban population show strong positive effects, reinforcing the idea that higher wages and urban expansion increases housing demand. Next, lending interest rate and mortgage rate have negative correlation with housing prices, suggesting that higher borrowing costs suppress the demand. Purchasing power parity does not show a significant effect, meaning external currency factors do not strongly influence domestic housing trends. Diagnostic tests confirm model robustness with no serial correlation, atheroscedasticity, or misspecification errors, and Kusum stability tests reinforcing consistency over time. Lastly, the policy implications that I could suggest is, since domestic credit availability significantly affects housing price index, policy should ensure affordable financing options for home buyers. Household income has a strong influence on price fluctuations, meaning income-driven affordability programs could stabilize the market. Next, Urban population positively influences housing price index, requiring balanced urban development policies. Lastly, the challenges that I've went through throughout this research is facing issues on understanding ARDL deeply and ensuring data are available for all variables. That's all from me. Thank you.